Is it really possible to mass deport millions of immigrants next year? This is an extremely difficult thing to do, and it would lead to severe consequences. So, on day one of Trump's administration, is it even possible to have one massive sweep to detain millions of immigrants across the nation? It's unlikely. And frankly, I don't even think the Trump administration would want to do it this way. Why? Because it is going to be too devastating to the United States and it could cause serious backlash. Here's some of these devastating consequences that would occur if we had mass deportation in 1 year or even over a 10-year period. One massive sweep and then immediate deportation of approximately 13 million immigrants would cost, and this is conservative according to the American Immigration Council, it would cost over $300 billion to do this. And this is taxpayer dollars, by the way. We're already going through inflation, and many people are feeling the weight of this inflation. Can you imagine taking $300 billion just to send people who normally has contributed to the country, to send them out instead? And that's because a majority of these 13 million pay into the US economy and are law-abiding. Now, say they couldn't do this in one massive sweep, but say they break it up over a 10-year period. That's maybe 1 million immigrants per year. Then it's going to cost almost $1 trillion to be able to get this done of taxpayer dollars. And that's because the Trump administration would have to put money into detention facilities and deal with all the expenses associated with detaining immigrants. Now, not only that, but the American Immigration Council goes on to show how it could possibly put the United States into a recession. Undocumented immigrants account for 4.2% to 6.8% of the GDP. That means if they leave in a massive sweep, then it's going to be reduced by that percentage. In addition to that, a significant portion of undocumented immigrants work in very important industries and sectors here in the US. For example, they are in agriculture, construction, and the hospitality industry. Mass deportation would mean that these sectors would lose a large portion of their workforce. Businesses would definitely shut down, and as a result of that, US workers would lose their jobs as well. Undocumented immigrants also pay billions of dollars in taxes. Yes, when they work, they pay taxes. And you know the thing about it is they're paying into a system that's not really giving them much. They pay into Social Security and Medicare, and yet they can't benefit from these. So the question is the Trump administration really going to risk such devastating effects happening from mass deportation in 1 year or even over a 10-year period? The US has never succeeded at deporting more than 250,000 immigrants in 1 year. And that has been a continuing struggle. But there's more. There's over 5.1 million children, US-born children, who live with at least one undocumented parent. So if mass deportation were to happen, then we would be dealing with 5.1 million children who would be without a parent or parents. And what does the US do with that? The US can't deport a US citizen. That would be potentially violating the US citizen's constitutional rights. And then the US would have to deal with the backlash of family separation on a massive scale. Do you remember what happened the last time when they were doing family separation at the border? How outraged everyone became? Now we're looking at millions of children being separated from their family members. So doing this across the nation would certainly result in collective trauma. That would certainly also cause a backlash again on the administration. So while yes, there are going to be increased efforts to deport many immigrants, mass deportation of millions of people in 1 year may be too high of a price to pay. I will be here doing what I do best, and that is helping immigrants to be able to get their protection from this deportation. And in this time, while we wait to see what the changes are, it's best to also look at your options. Hang tight and take care of yourself.